guess, that's my point. I'm not saying,
On the other side of
like, the
wall,
sewer
where
should be
you plug in
fixed.
everything on the flip side,
that's
so
the,
it's hidden
that's the
wall.
point that needs to be fixed, not,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
at the
That's what
time,
I'm getting
we
at.
didn't
I'm
know
not trying
what it was
to,
gonna be. And we could still keep it.
I'm not
in
trying to be
one
hard about it.
and
I'm just saying,
drag the cord in
if
from you,
roots
so
are
it's
getting
still
in,
not
that
a
means
bad
there's a
thing.
break in the
I
line
don't know
or
if we just wanna invest
cracks
in
or
having
something.
What's going on?
flip
That's
Not
what needs-
according
How you
to
been?
everybody that's cleaned it out, it's been cleaned out 8
It's right
times.
there.
Well, how are
Glad
the
you
roots
are.
getting in there if there isn't a way for roots to get
Bad
in
one?
there?
I have
New
no
Woodstock.
idea.
Where?
New
You can
Woodstock.
ask Pat.
Jeez.
Oh, it's okay.
Time did you get home?
5 this morning.
I'm not being argumentative.
I can see why you're tired.
Well, I had the duty today, so
No, he was,
I don't know, I think.
he sent his email out at 5. Didn't you get your email at 5?
I got it. Well, I don't know if I got it at 5, I did. I got it during the
Yeah,
day.
5.
or
you got it at 5 this morning.
I
You
read
already
it
sent it out
yesterday.
early though.
Not at 5.
Not at 5. No, no.
I guess I didn't look at the timestamp. I just,
No.
No, you
Me.
weren't up at 5 looking at your emails?
Come on.
Oh, my gosh.
I get up at 7:45 every day. No, I wasn't up at 5. That's why I said I didn't look at the timestamp.
Mike has already buried 3 people by then.
Well, you
I
know,
don't know if you need an extra.
he should be jealous.
I do.
She can play tic-tac-toe
That's
on there
right.
or something.
Hi, Rick.
Dan, how are you today?
Hey, where'll I go? Sure.
How am I today?
Yeah.
I'm okay.
All right.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Hi, Chief.
Can you see it or
All
no?
right, how are you?
Can you hear it?
Yes, I can.
There's voices too?
I can hear, yep, that's how it's working.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Michael, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I came for entertainment.
Did you? Perfect. Well, hope we can.
I'm sure you
hope
came to
we-
the right place.
Hope we
Well, your
can,
name was all over the agenda, so I figured it had to be.
Oh, God.
hope we can.
That's what I mean.
Part-time hire.
Like, it's boring. You came here for a sedative is what you
Hi,
came
Pam.
for.
Okay?
Hello.
Hello.
That's
Probably
all I
should
have.
use one of those too.
Pollard
That
says,
engine-
say
get-
hi.
Oh, how's Rick doing?
Okay.
He's doing
Where'd you
great.
see Rick? Where'd you see him?
He's my client. Here.
Excellent.
Yeah. His whole family.
Rick is Pollard's responsible for all the technology in here.
We just discovered that, or I just discovered that
Yeah.
this week. He told me about that.
How's everything? That's good?
Yeah. We won't consider what good is, we won't respect it, but
Hi,
I'll leave
Dan.
that definition
I'm
to
above the
you.
dirt breathing and pumping.
There you go.
You get your money, Dan?
Are they open
They are.
to play golf?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they close today, but
I got money coming. I got merchandise coming too. Did he put it all away?
I don't know. He was there today. I talked to him.
Nice and
I'm
warm.
very
get-
sad.
Did you have money coming?
Yep.
Can't you sit here and
How much did you get?
And I got 25 plus a skin.
Come again?
Did you go look?
Oh, you got
where
skin
did you
on
see it on
Wednesday.
last day?
Karen's
What'd you,
desk?
on what
I'm
I'm
hole?
sorry, can't hear
Did you
you.
see it on Karen's desktop?
What?
Real quick, this, if you guys just
No.
one at a time want to go see it, it's perfect. You can see it and you can hear you, I just heard you talking, it's as clear as day.
We're gonna-
so.
Okay.
I'm gonna,
Karen just said it was
It's not
garbled.
live yet, but it's up.
Paul, I played in Philadelphia
What hole?
Karen
Saturday,
said it was garbled.
down for a tournament.
No, it's not
What a
garbled.
cool
Does it
course.
start automatically?
It was like
Yes.
a full-size course, but just short. Like, but everything else
Oh,
was,
because she said it was.
Like the executive course?
it wasn't an executive, it was like a regular course, but it just never had a lot of length to it. And I got done and I'm like, Alex, this is how the pros must feel, where you're hitting, 8-iron, 9-iron or wedge every time.
Like me
You know.
playing from the
Talk to your
goals
mother then.
when the seniors guys.
Yeah. I was like, no wonder they score so
No, yeah,
well.
she
It's
went-
a lot easier when you're hitting these
Let's see
shots
if I
every
could
time.
Record it on the
Last week?
funeral today for her. So
Last month,
so we've recorded it for everybody.
I didn't
Family
play.
couldn't
No,
go.
No, it's Thursday.
Thursday.
You know.
We played Cavs last Thursday, and I had to play from the goals. I shot one over.
It's a lot easier.
I used my every wood all day.
Pretty good.
That's really good.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun, because everything else was normal. The greens were really, everything, bunked, it didn't matter.
Did you ever go get fitted?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Down there?
I gotta go.
All right.
I gotta play more.
Any
Join
free
the club
time?
and you'll-
I don't even know where my clubs are right now, to be honest with you, so.
You found your ties, I see.
I did find my ties. I did. Thank you. And I get to move upstairs out of the basement tomorrow.
Dan Delaney's been there for 3 months. He can't do anything at my house because he's been over at Mark's. I asked him in June to do something. Oh, I gotta go to Mark's. I'm okay.
It's all done.
Gonna have to hire.
Except all for, done? They
Matt's
finished the
done.
floors today. No, the countertops won't be done for 2
Saw
more
your
weeks.
bills you
but-
gave us.
But we're gonna move up, because the painter said to be done in 2 days.
Oy vey.
Just gonna adjust that one thing.
Just messing with you.
Pretty good, Mike,
You
right?
don't bill monthly?
Were
You don't bill monthly?
Down at the end of the night
Um,
tomorrow morning?
Typically, I was,
Playing with it.
but the last
What?
6 months have just
You guys gonna put
been,
that all away in the box and put it away?
We're trying to
Chaos.
figure it out right now.
But because tomorrow, when we put
Because
in
of
sanitize everything,
things.
Right.
I wanna make sure that it's put away before we.
It's not good for your cash flow.
no.
That's designed to be.
The bad news is, at this point in my career, for what
Is it
they
live
pay
now,
me,
Karen?
it doesn't
Good.
impact me much, so, you know, it's like, I'm working for everybody
Call the meeting
else.
to order. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. We are live streaming tonight's meeting for the first time in our Village Hall through Boxcast. I would invite anybody that would like to call that has a question. I'd like to have you call 315-952-3795 just to let us know that you're out there and it's working. We did get a chance to see it live. So all of you have microphones in front of you, so we should be good to go. I want to thank Karen and Lori for all their efforts to get this done. And again, today is our first meeting with it. So, any changes, deletions, or corrections to the agenda? I have one under roundtable, which will be Signal Hill noise complaint. Okay. Okay. Item 2, meeting minutes of October 13th.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Second.
Moved by Mike, need a second. Seconded by Dennis. Any changes, deletions, or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Hello? Oh, perfect. And it comes through clear? Okay. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, I'm back.
Can I have one?
Said there's a little bit of garble, but other than that, the picture's clear, everything's great, so. Okay, abstract number 8, dated today in the amount of $530,875.65. Need a motion?
Make a motion to approve that.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay. In this is the Feeder Street property. If you've noticed, we've got that finalized, and we paid Mackenzie Hughes to go through that whole process. There's also a few other, all the paving projects are in here. We did receive the county grant today for $151,000. So there's a few in here that are just making it a little larger than normal. Also, there's a $12 one in here for me for the mayor's meeting that we had last month. So, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Number 4, Limestone Plaza striking. Dennis?
We reached out to Betsy at the state again, asking the status on it. They have not addressed it, but they assured us it would be put to the top of the priority list. So we will follow up again at the end of the week.
I think at this point it'll be a spring project, but
Yeah.
at least we could go through the process.
Yep.
Okay.
She said a couple times how busy they are, so it was. Anything, I didn't see anything else, right, Lori?
No, that was it.
Okay. Next is number 5. I'm not sure if all of you know, but the governor passed a new law requiring pandemic operation plans. And this is basically pursuant to the law, the elements include but are not limited to a list and descriptions of positions considered essential, protocols for non-essential employees to follow to work remotely, a description, staggered work shifts will be implemented, process of procurement and distribution of personal protective equipment, the process to outline an employee being exposed and the communication of the disease, the policy of leave for employees that require tested treatment and quarantine, protocols to develop document specific hours of work locations, including off-site and for essential and contractors, protocols for emergency housing, essential employees, and all other requirements determined by the State Department of Health. Most of this stuff we have done, through the work of the DPW and the fire chief and Lori. We've done all these things, but not formally. We've just kind of made these things happen as part of our process. So I think this is a good idea by the governor's office to do this and to make sure that we're more prepared. Lori tomorrow has a conference call with NICOM. It's a free webinar from 10 to 11:15 to kind of review what needs to be done and how we need to do it. Once we get all those put into place, it'll become part of our pandemic plan that we all have. I'm going to make sure that we get everybody updated pandemic plans. But also I think I've talked to Paul about this. I know I've talked to Pat about this. I know it's part of this, but the supply chain of PPP, the masks, the gloves, the toilet paper, the sanitizers, we need to make sure that we have ample supplies, especially for the fire department and EMS. But even our DPW garage, we got very close on gloves and a few other things. So I agree with making sure that you have all those supplies and they're stockpiled and they're ready to go in case of an emergency. So after Lori does that, we'll update this pandemic plan. We'll get with the department heads. It's really Lori, Pat, Paul, and to go through everything that we need for the village. And we cover the court and we cover the rec if they need anything during that. Any questions? The senior center we probably should talk about too, Dennis. Make sure that they have the supplies. You just give them the information.
All right.
So, any questions on that? Okay. Number 6, facade grants.
Hang on a sec. So we have the facade grants. I think we were envisioning 6 $5,000 grants. That's not set in stone, but we're going to have a meeting in the next week or so. Looking to use, we saw a really good example from Manlius, what their protocol is, I guess. They're actually requiring a matching grant. That's their idea. That's what they want to do. I think we should consider at least having whoever does this perhaps do some portion of a matching grant. Maybe, maybe not. But when we meet, we'll discuss it and then we'll bring a recommendation back to you guys. I'd love to have this up and running by the end of November, which will give them 2 or 3 months to come up with different submissions, and we can make a decision on who's going to have the grant, say by the end of February, and they can start it in the spring. That's the plan so far.
So this is part of the Main Street grant that we got from the county. We got $30,000, so we decided to do 6 $5,000 grants for the businesses on our Main Street to apply, and they're going to set the criteria, put the application process together. And that will include Dennis, Lori, village resident, and a member of the Chamber of Commerce to come and put the criteria together for this grant. So, any questions, comments for Dennis?
You guys like the idea of having a matching portion?
I personally think it's a good option. That way it shows the commitment of the business owner. It's not just the village putting up, or the county in this case, putting up that money. I'd like to see that, maybe it's not 100%, maybe it's 50% or 25%. I think the committee should come up with some recommendations.
Okay.
So that the board of trustees can review that.
It's up to the committee, let the committee decide.
Yeah.
Then
If
give us
3
a
of you said
recommendation.
absolutely not
Give us
right
a
here, then we
recommendation.
wouldn't consider it.
Well, give us a recommendation.
Okay.
Lori told me that that's what we're planning on doing. Didn't you tell me that at some point? Say that, when I said something about Mrs. Bundy, you said, does she know that it's matching?
I said that it may be.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's a good idea then.
Thank you.
But if the committee comes up, I don't want to influence the committee.
Okay.
Next is number 7, playground equipment for Coulter and Washington Parks. Or
So-
Washington Park.
So this is a continuation of the last conversation at our last meeting we had. It turns out this one company is offering a grant. However, you had to purchase play sets, and you have copies of what the play sets the committee picked out in front of you. So initially, we were going to spend, I'll round up, $14,000 on a slide and a swing in Coulter Park. The committee reviewed this, the Parks Committee reviewed it. They came up with these 2 recommendations. The first one, this Tiffin one, is for Washington Park, on the western end of it, 'cause it's very long, so that will fit there. And then the second one is for Coulter Park, which, Pam, actually, that last one is probably the best
The very last
representation of
image.
it. Well, yeah, you can see it on the second page, but to really know what you're getting, you look at the last page.
That's 28-foot 3 by 36.6.
Yep.
Okay.
So that will go in Coulter Park along with a swing set, so, because we have to have a swing set there. So the price of all of this comes out to $59,600 minus a grant of $26,888. Our total outlay is $36,870, including freight. So we get 2 new swings plus 2 new play sets, and the committee feels like this is the best possible spend of the money to handle 2 parks. That both need to be done. We weren't planning on it initially, but we think this will better suit both places.
So basically, if you take the 14 that we budgeted out of Coulter, it's about a $22,000 outlay for Washington.
Yes. It's an increase of 22,000.
You don't think this is too big for Washington Park?
It isn't.
It's gonna take up that whole end of the park.
It'll take up that whole end that's out there. So like there's a place set there already. There's some old rocky kind of things, rocking horse type things that would come out. We'd probably have to move the the sandbox,
The west end you're talking about,
the west end.
where the trucks are, where the
Correct,
kids are going
yeah.
with the trucks. So where's that gonna get moved to?
Well, either we eliminate it or we move it to the
No,
left
you can't
at all.
eliminate that.
Okay.
That's too much tradition. Why would you eliminate something that is tradition like that?
Okay. I mean, I don't think anyone had a,
So Coulter is still gonna get a set of swings, correct?
correct,
They just don't show it in here?
correct.
Does that put the swings this way or this way?
It would put them essentially where they are, shifted over a little bit. The swings that are there have like 3 legs that come down, so
Yeah.
it's really wide.
Tripod,
This
yeah.
just has 2, so you can shift the whole swing over right to the edge. They can expand, and there's also room to expand it a little bit. And that's where it would go, and then this other one would go right in the middle.
And what was the name of the group that offered the grant?
State Parks Rob was able to help us, correct, with this?
MRC is the name of it. He recommended a different company, so they quoted the same company, similar equipment, and it was $65,000.
Park Tech, I think is
Yes.
what they, yeah, that's who the state uses.
Yep.
That's who we have at Canal Landing.
Yes.
This is who's gonna install this?
The DPW would.
And is this just the
They've got a lot of
two
jobs.
pieces of equipment in that budget and, leaving out benches?
Yes, yeah, this would be just for the equipment. So instead of
14 didn't
14,
include the, right,
it would go to 36, 37, I think is the number.
36,870.
So there's not gonna be added benches? at
No, the
all?
benches are still part of it. This is,
There's still, okay.
right, so we
that's-
would be amending that to say that we're gonna spend
I mean, they wanted
$37,000 on
We have 95 and
both parks,
reserve.
plus the benches,
So the original
plus the
thing was
paving,
big down
plus
there.
the
What's that?
tree removal.
What are you gonna do with the swings that are there now?
Nothing, get rid of them. I mean,
They're
they're
out
all
of code
flaking
and-
and coming apart. And
70,
we thought about removing them and we're having them sandblasted and stuff. They're all fiberglass, they're covered in fiberglass, this coating, and it would be, yeah, it just said it would probably be more than a new swing
I
set.
think we had the reserve, so.
Yeah, I mean, the money part of it, I don't care.
Is that a metal that can be
The ones at
recycled?
Washington
It's
Park.
weird, it's covered with a, it's like wrapped in like a fiberglass
The ones,
stuff. And-
But there's metal below the
Yeah, there
fiberglass?
is, yeah.
Can that metal be recycled, like sold?
I'm sure it can be recycled, I don't know, I was gonna leave it up to Pat.
Gotcha.
We asked about removing it, but it's 3 feet in the ground in concrete, so
Yeah.
it's, you're not moving it,
that's what I'm wondering.
yeah.
So, the original project was how much, 35,000?
Yep,
And this is 22,000, so that would, let's just say 58,000.
yep,
In the reserve, last time we looked, it was 95,000 for parks, so that would leave us 37,000 for reserves, and we would get Washington. Is that all that Washington's gonna need? We're not gonna come back and,
well, Washington on the other side, the swing is an older swing, but it's in really good shape, and the slide can't be more than 5 years old,
okay.
so the east side looks good.
Oh, so
I think
you are
all the
going-
east side needs, honestly, is
New
2 new backboards
Right.
and
So,
poles.
so you are gonna leave those there?
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't understand that.
So
Yeah,
he's at the other end.
which I was gonna do next year as part of our normal budget.
Okay. Any questions? So we have to act on this or we lose the grant.
Correct, because we have to order it and have a check cut by the end of the month.
All right, so we need a motion to expend another $22,000 for the Washington Park.
So moved.
Need a second?
Well, wait a minute, for both parks, right?
Well, we already approved the 36, which had 14,000, so it's an additional 22.
Yeah, I
So
guess that,
between the two parks, you're talking about like
58.
spending $57,000
Right, exactly.
for the blacktop, the ball court,
Yeah.
everything?
Yes,
Okay.
the two. Yep.
yeah.
Like, second.
Second by Mike.
How much?
50, let's say 58,000.
Okay,
Just.
58.
58,000 for everything.
For everything,
Are
But
they
not
on
the
state
fence.
contract?
not.
There is no fence.
There is no fence, man.
Okay,
Mark, I don't know.
just checking.
We gotta check.
There was
Check.
fence.
Lori, we have to make sure they're on state or county
Not that
contract.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so that's provided they're on state contract or county contract.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, just so I'm not questioning you, I'm just wondering why that's so important.
Because it's over a certain dollar amount.
Okay.
We're just following the procurement policy.
I'm fine with it, I forgot. Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Fire Department, trustee Kinsella. Any purchases?
Yeah, but I gotta, find Cody Granger is applying, to be a volunteer. So, he wants to be everything that we have available, so. I'm moving with Cody, everything's signed.
Background checks?
Everything is signed.
Okay. Moved by trustee Kinsella, need a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Duggleby. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other applications?
No, that's it.
Chief?
So the only purchase I have is authorization for the repair of the engine, for its insurance claim accident. $14,580 some odd dollars. Insurance company's paying $8,700. That was before we got the estimate from the repair company, so they're working on redoing it. But I want to get it scheduled and, so we can get it fixed before winter. So, one way or another, it's gonna come out of my maintenance budget to get it fixed.
So what's the shortfall? Depends on
Yeah,
after the.
about $5,000,
5,000.
if they don't cover it, but I don't see why they wouldn't cover it, because he didn't have an estimate when he gave us the dollars, he just did it himself, so.
Okay. So we need to make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the estimate repair
So moved.
minus the insurance.
Second.
Moved and seconded. When will you have that, chief?
I have it now,
Okay.
we just don't have the information back from the insurance company, but I'll put it in your mailbox for you to
Okay.
sign. I wanna draft a contract for the penalty clause on it for them.
Okay.
That way, they're not dragging it out The
Right.
date they give me is the date they give me.
Right. And they're the authorized,
Yep.
who they told us to use?
Yep,
Okay.
well, that's the manufacturer of the truck,
Right.
so.
So that's easy. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Saturday night, we're gonna do a drive-through Halloween event in the back parking lot. We're gonna just hand candy out, bags to the kids. So you'll see some advertisement going on the social media. They're gonna come in this entrance and go out the other entrance. So we're gonna block the parking lot off so we can meet the needs. Association's taking care of all of the expense and for it. It's a trial run for potentially Santa Sunday and how we might do that. So, just wanted to let you know we're gonna be doing something for Halloween.
The county did post some guidelines, so we posted those as well on our
Yeah, I
website.
mean, we're gonna wear masks and gloves to hand candy out in bags, so we should be good. So last meeting, I got authorization to hire 2 people. I have given an offer to an employee, to a prospective member, and he took it. His name's John Lapsco. He's from the city of Watertown. He's coming down here to work. We negotiated with the union and Mark to give him just a little bit of a bump in pay from where the contract is. So, I'd like to ask for authorization to hire John Lapsco at $49,293, which is 6 months, basically, in pay from where he would have started.
Okay. Need a motion?
So move.
Need a second?
Second.
So what we did is just to make sure that we could, because it's a lateral move with somebody that's been in the system for more than a few years.
And he doesn't have to be trained.
No academy, no nothing.
So we
It's a
were able to,
godsend.
move them in with the
Godsend
union.
to us.
So,
So
Water.
you just moved him sort of like a step that he would hit at 6 months anyways.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because we did his probation for 6 months versus a year. He's been with us for 6 months part-time already.
All right.
So we did it from his probationary, from his part-time start date. So he's excited, we're excited. He's a great employee. He's great so far, so
Great.
he'd be a great addition for us.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And then I want to ask permission to hire Dave Paddock as a part-time employee. He is a retired deputy chief in the Ilion Fire Department, and he is a paramedic instructor at Paxton, St. Luke's in Utica, and he wants to come here and keep his skills up. He'll do it the normal part-time rate,
Mhm.
and he knows he's got to work 4 shifts a month. So,
Start date effective?
yeah, it'll be next week, but you can say effective immediately, that's fine.
So moved.
Moved by Dan,
Second.
seconded by Dennis. Any
That's-
questions?
That's great to have somebody like him.
Awesome.
Yep,
Can he train? Is
he's all
he-
trained and everything.
No, but can he train?
Yeah, yep. He can help us with ACLS skills and paramedic refresher stuff. I mean, it's
Awesome.
gonna be nice for us,
Great.
so.
He's driving up from there.
He's coming from Ilion to work part-time for us, so.
That's an hour. It's not that far.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
That's it.
By the time you buy
Oh,
that big of
I
pretty
did give
gas.
you guys, so the career chiefs group has been doing a little thread of emails with, what kind of percentage that people have been down on calls. So I compiled it and I just did a quick spreadsheet on where everybody's at. I think you'll see some of the numbers, not everybody's a transporting agency, and I think that's one of the things you'll probably catch more than anything. Most of them are just fire department that do, BLS response. There's only one agency that's up 1.2%, I think it is, and that's Ilion. And their call volume for the year is like 1,300, so,
Yeah, the total list is 25 departments.
yeah, there's a lot more, but.
6 are transporting, 19 are non-transporting.
So I gave ours today, my weekly report was 13.5% we're down, our call volume year to date, so.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Anything for the fire department? Trustee Small.
So we have Pat's memo list. I guess we'll tackle this tree thing first on Woodmansey.
Let me get my,
You got your thing from Dan.
no, I had the, yeah.
Okay, let me just say this. I totally agree with you, Mike and Leslie and everybody else. Beautiful tree. But I don't know how many times we have been there, and the last time actually, rather than us going, the county responded.
Okay.
And let me just tell you about their story. And I mean, I don't want the tree to come down. Nobody wants the tree to come down. But they're worried that it's going to back up again. We know that. So your idea is the pipe must be grown.
Well, if roots get into a pipe, there have to be cracks or something within the pipe for the roots to get in. If it's a solid pipe, the roots can't go through a solid pipe. So that means there must be stuff leaking out of the pipe or potentially leaking out of the pipe.
That pipe is
In the
the
ground.
clay line, is the jointed one, so we've had issues with roots.
Yeah, with
That's
the
why we
joint,
bought,
right.
that's why we bought that root cutter.
That's what
Because
I
we were
thought,
dealing with it.
maybe the joint. The
Okay.
joint, it was through the joint.
It's mostly through the joints.
So here's what their fear is. Their fear is the village has been great, and the last time they called, because now the county has taken over, the county came and cleaned it up. Everything has been good. But their fear is that it's going to go beyond the cleanout. If it goes beyond the cleanout, what their fear is, it's gonna cost them a lot of money to have it fixed, because at that point, they're gonna have somebody come in and do it.
Right.
So that's what their fear is. That's it in a nutshell.
So right now, the trees are getting in on our side of the sewer.
Yep,
The roots are getting in
and
on
I
our
think
side
they
of the
said
sewer.
8 times.
I understand that the tree is healthy and it looks fine, but I mean, if that had happened to you or any one of us 8 times.
No,
we'd
I'm just
probably-
asking whether it's a
I mean, I
good thing
personally,
or a
yeah.
bad thing.
I don't want to take it down, but I also don't want them to, go through any more than what they've had to go through already. Maybe we could plant a different tree that
The
doesn't
ladies lived there for 46 years.
go.
Well, I want to put a tree there,
No.
somewhere else or whatever.
Right.
So you want to take
So-
the tree down?
I don't know what to do.
Wood Mancy Lane in the
I don't know what
Brookside.
to do. I'll tell you right now.
If it were an
109 Wood Mancy.
What?
If it were an unhealthy tree, it wouldn't be growing.
Right, it would be easier. And most of the time, when we do take a tree down, it's either diseased or it's unhealthy, and it's
I
an
mean-
easy decision.
This is a
I
nuisance.
mean, we could.
This is not an easy decision, but it's also probably the right thing to do, is if it continues, it's not gonna go away.
Right.
And the example that our tree committee gave, and I'm not criticizing anybody for this, they said there's another one on Euclid, somebody wants it taken down because they don't like it. This is not the same situation, so, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Right, no, we haven't in the past taken trees down because people don't like them. We've taken down a tree either because it's, needs to come down because of its health,
Or it was in the way of a
this,
driveway or something.
right, or in this situation, it's causing other problems, that are beyond our control, so.
I don't know
I
what to
believe
say.
the quote was around $600.
They're a nice
Is
couple,
that what
they
you-
appreciate everything we do for them and everything that's been done.
So, I make a motion, we
Yeah,
I
take
don't
it
know.
down.
I mean, is there a way
Authorize
to
the
dig
mayor
it
to
up
sign
and
it.
see if we can
Huh?
fix the pipe?
Make a motion so I can sign it.
So I'll make a motion that the mayor sign the agreement with Bartlett to remove the tree.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And then we'll work with them, Leslie work with them on a replacement tree, perhaps another year. It won't be
They've
this
already
year.
found a couple of the nursery down the street, they cost about 5,000.
Well, they can put them in themselves. All right, sidewalks grant on Salt Spring Street. They had to walk through and there's just a few small issues to take care of, which they will be taking care of. The sidewalk at Mott Road, in front of the Craftsman, the part that has been poured is what will be poured for sidewalk for this year. They've put the dirt along the sides of it and seeded it. The rest will be done next year, although they may be adding some fill, I'm assuming, on the west side of Mott Road where they're gonna put the sidewalk,
They have to put
Next year.
fill all the way to Mott Road and then on the west side.
even on Genesee?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how they're
'Cause it-
handling that
it would-
area. Well, it's got that little dip
Yes,
in there.
exactly. So we're just gonna take that little dip out.
I wasn't sure how they were working on that.
Yeah.
The Limestone Bishop Brook project is status quo. The bridges on Walnut and West Franklin Street are the same. The Ledyard Dike at the Route 92 bridge is the same as previous. Leaf season, they started picking up leaves on October 9th. And as we know, and we keep repeating, but just so people know, the month of November, there will not be other pickups other than trash and leaves. No construction, no hard fill, no other brush, no other, no
We are
other
a leaf
pickup.
village for the month of November.
Leaves only for
So-
November. Right-of-way permit status quo. OSHA training with PERMA, they were going to train with the town of Manlius, but they had too many people, the numbers were too high, so they have to reschedule their training. And Dan and Pat did the Public Works training from NICOM that we approved at a previous meeting on October 20th and 21st, and a lot of discussion on COVID. There's some snow plow training coming up in November. Is that something that needs to be paid for, or they're just gonna do it? Do you know
I think
anything?
they're doing it, I don't think that's
Okay. And the last thing he has on his projects list is that with so many of the training things going virtual, they're looking for projector screen, stuff like that, that they can put in down there to do some more training. So we're not asking, I guess, for anything right now,
Yeah.
just to be thinking about it and to open the thought process up, whether we get something used, whether we get something new, whether we get something from, another department here that's done with certain things that we could utilize that they're gonna replace or wanna replace or something, we can see what we can do about that
Okay.
stuff.
Let's talk about offline about our system, because we might want to be changing our system.
Yeah, and
So
so
this
we
might
might-
work for them, because it's not used.
Right.
But it's cumbersome to use, but down there it'd be fine for them, so.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying, there might be something we already have somewhere that we want to, somebody wants to replace or upgrade. And if that's the case, then we might have something to just move to a different location and use it.
Okay.
This employee, can I do that? For the top one, Richard Taggart?
Yeah, I just have to go through it. Do we have that position? Is there an open position for that right now?
I believe so, because we didn't hire anybody, we've lost, who was the last ones that we lost? How come we do it based on your
Yes,
decision?
yeah.
So, we have a temporary employee, Richard Taggart, at the village currently, and Pat is asking us to consider hiring him in as a full-time laborer position. So I'd like to make the motion allowing the mayor to confirm that position is available and hire him at the contract rate that we have with the union,
With a one-year probation.
with a one-year probationary
contract.
period per the contract.
Second.
Aren't we already a couple slots open there? or-
I think so. I just want to go through that. In the budget process, we had some positions, and I know I just want to make sure where we are at. Are we down one, are we down two, plus the two? I gotta just go through
Yep.
that with Pat and Lori. Just want to make sure that
Yep.
so. I don't think this is gonna be an issue, but we just have to, I want to dot the Ts and cross the Is. Dot the Is, cross the Ts, sorry.
One of those two.
Either way, I'm
Sorry,
gonna do it.
sorry. So, and then Pat did, just so you know, Pat texted me, the county is actually right now slip lining and looking at that whole area on Woodmansee. So, that should, that will get slip lined so that the roots won't go through there.
So we may take a,
Look at
we
that.
may hold off on the
Or-
tree, but we have the permission to do it if we
Right.
need to, if we feel that's the best.
If they
thing
slip
to
line
do.
it, then it will take care of the issue.
All right.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah, he just said that they are slip lining, I
Yeah,
apologize.
that's great. That's a possibility.
If that does it. He says the county has cameraed the laterals in that area, and they're going to slip line the area. I don't know if that means they're gonna slip line the laterals. If they don't slip line the laterals, then we're gonna have the same issue, so. I just gotta get with Pat. And if, Pat, if you're listening, let me know. Okay. Any other questions for the DPW?
Yeah, I got, so they came today, it was the first day they've come through the reviews of ours.
Yeah.
And, they've been matted down, wet, they're working really hard, so's that equipment. Is there no way to get this done more incrementally? I mean, usually they just go zip, 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 and really gotta work hard because they've been there for 3-4 weeks.
Right.
Well, and the rain didn't help, obviously.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, if you could do it more incrementally, you could do it faster and more efficiently.
We have
Well-
done it more incrementally in the past, and we still run into problems. So we wanted to try this, where we're gonna just Literally, 2 trucks are gonna go out every day for the month of November until we're done. The other way, we had done it for that way forever, and we got more complaints every year. So we said, let's try it this way. We're gonna pick up leaves when we can in October, and then come November, we're recycling garbage and leaves. That's the only thing we're gonna be doing. So we're gonna try it. If it doesn't work, and maybe we need to change it to October and November. Maybe we'll make that decision. But at this point, this is where we started. After listening to what Pat and his ideas were,
I
we
mean, they
think.
did a very nice job, and then they came through with the sweeper afterwards, and it looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
But
he was out today.
you can just see it was a lot of effort to
Yeah.
get it done.
Okay, what's gonna happen now is some of your neighbors are gonna rake tomorrow, and they're not gonna be back for another 2 weeks, and they're gonna say, where have they been? We hear that all the time.
We almost can put. If
They
we-
do follow through the village, like, you know, if they're in your neighborhood, they keep going in a circle around the whole village and they come back to you, so,
They
which
always
you
do.
probably know already,
Always
but,
do Brookside.
you know, that's
I
why
wrote
they
this
probably
to
sat there
Dennis
for
and
a
I
week
get
or
it
two
last.
also, was because
Ours
they were
hasn't
in
been
some
done.
other place before they
Nobody
could get
says.
there.
Yep,
Yeah.
right, yep.
We're just hoping
You live
that
in
this will
Brookside.
work, and maybe
Yeah.
it's, you know, middle of October to
Sounds like he said they did.
November, end of
His
November,
house.
because you
Yours
just never know
wasn't
when they're gonna
done.
start falling, when
No,
people are
no,
gonna
no,
rake,
They're
and,
gonna come down.
It is, and
Well,
this
it
year it's
hasn't
been a
been
little
touched.
earlier than it has been, which is good and bad. You know what I mean? They got through. I think he's talking about, you know, putting one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and one on Thursday, and just let them go. And just keep going until we get it done. So Sunday was beautiful, so they got crushed. You know, I
Yep.
drove around Sunday afternoon, and you could see it. But they were out late tonight. I saw them at 5:30. We also gave them the ability to work overtime too. So it's not just the 7 to 3:30. It's going to be if they need to, if they can't keep up, then there's overtime. So I think what people don't understand is there's been years where leaves cost us more than snow removal. So it's not a thing that we can't keep up on. It's just a matter of they come down, and when they come down, it's up to Mother Nature. We thought this was the best way to try something new and see if it works. I also want to publicly thank Tom Kinsella because we lost our leaf dumping area, and Tom Kinsella and the Kinsella Quarry is now going to be taking some of our leaves. So he has graciously offered to let us dump them in the quarry. So the place where we did can only take a third of what we normally give them. So we had to find a place to replace the 2/3, and I made a phone call, and Tom was gracious and stepped right up and said, bring them up. So we're very, very fortunate. And Pat is actually letting me know something here, so. Tuesday's route was done, and they started on Wednesdays today. You live on Wednesdays, so we are doing leaves and trash and recycling at the same time, but come next week, it's all leaves, so. All right, any other questions for the DPW? Senior Center, Lori and I had a meeting last week. The tentative finish date is now a week later than what we thought, but there has been some good progress. The outside, the windows went in, the dormers are getting done. We went through the proposal for the side porch. I have a picture I can show you, but the side sun porch is actually, there's a big beam underneath, but it's sagging at the top and it's sagging at the bottom. Put new windows in, they're not gonna be able to open in a few years. So we said, we gotta fix this. So we've gotta fix it from the bottom and the top. So we're getting a proposal to rebuild the bottom, shore it up, and then rebuild the center to shore the center thing up. Everything else is moving along and is progressing. The hood got moved last week in the kitchen. The kitchen floor was tiled. The bathrooms are tiled. They're putting fixtures in. It is going slower than anticipated, but it is, right now we're being told 11/6 is the finish date when they want to walk away until the spring to do the landscaping and finish the work. The DPW's done a nice job. They took out some of the sidewalk areas. We had Ross come in and pour some sidewalks for us. Gary's up there yesterday and today to do some infill work on some foundation work that we wanted to get done. We have to dig a hole for the new sanitary sump pump, but the project is progressing through. I do probably need a motion or authorization to have change orders up to 5,000. I signed a few last week. They were probably totaling close to 4,000. So I'd like a motion to authorize me to sign another set of change orders up to $5,000.
so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Opposed? Any questions on the project? Roundtable. Ted,
I'm good.
Dennis.
Actually, Derek had asked if he could get 10-inch corrugated pipes for the project, the Boy Scout project down in, near Limestone. He said they're up in,
Do good.
yeah,
So 10 inches? 10 inch
10-inch pipes.
For what?
Well, I can double check and ask him because he just sent me a text about it.
It's 100 feet of pipe.
No, 3 10-foot
Okay, so
long,
30.
10-inch pipes.
30 feet.
I apologize.
What's he doing?
I had all my 10s wrong. It sounds to me like there's, some water and, he's basically gonna build places so they don't drain. He said they're up there, but he wanted me to ask.
I would say first, let's go through Pat to
Yep.
see if we have another option. There might be something else that we try to keep that black plastic for something, but there might be some other pipe up there that we could give them to help
All right.
that part. Anybody have an issue with that?
No,
Just let
let's
him
see
work
what
it
he
through
has.
with Pat, is
Yeah.
basically what I'm
Yeah.
asking for. Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Pam?
I should have mentioned this when we were on DPW, but the letters on the facade of the sign of Coulter Parks, they're coming off again. This is like the third or fourth time we've tried to read here. I think the little kiddos are scaling the letters to get to the top of the sign. I wonder if there should be maybe some sort of temporary sign that says don't climb on the
Electricity?
sign, and we can, or some spikes put on
Is
the
there
top of
any,
the wall.
is there any way
Electrify
that,
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some
is
grounds.
there any communication amongst Brookside residents? Because I have a feeling it's probably the kids within Brookside that are scaling the sign, or no?
Well, from what I'm observed myself, the parents are with them sometimes
Okay,
and
well,
propping them
I
up
guess
there.
they need to be told that they can't
Yeah.
climb on the sign. I guess, is there communication through, my question is there communication
There-
within Brookside that can be said that they can't be doing this? So parents
We could-
and children learn, not just children. I'm trying to teach everybody.
Right. We can put it in our next newsletter, which is less frequent because of COVID. We aren't
Right.
putting out as many. Our listserv isn't very large. It
Oh.
isn't gonna get to enough people.
Okay,
And besides, not everybody who plays in that park is Brookside.
no, I'm not
So-
suggesting that the culprits are necessarily either. I'm just saying, that's a good place to start because that's where, people, I would say there's probably more people in Brookside that go to that park currently, the way the park is, than other people coming there, but.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm just trying to educate the
We'll
people.
get that word out.
The biggest group of people we can that might use that might, be doing that.
We can try. I see that, I started to say that I see parents with their kids that are doing it, but most of the time it's kids that are playing on their own.
Yeah,
And so they kind of need to be told because they don't read our newsletter, the kiddos.
no, I was just thinking if the parents knew, even if it wasn't your kids and you saw kids climbing on something, you could tell them not to do that if you know that that's causing a problem of some sort. Maybe certain people don't know that it's causing a problem, you know what I mean? Like if you,
Yeah.
but that's all I was trying to figure out, how we could educate people, and let them know about it. That's
Well,
all.
give it
Those
a-
letters are almost as much as what we pay for the sign material. They're,
I know,
very expensive.
yeah. Well, luckily, we haven't lost a letter. I've picked them up, and the U is dangling. It's not come off all the way, or else I would have,
The sign that we had, the old sign,
yes.
it's actually, I saw it Saturday night. We're just about to put the first coat of shellac on it to seal it, but a lot of the green came off, but it looks really, I think looks cool. Once it's coated, clear coated, it's gonna look original. He's just going through now and taking the yellow and touching the yellow up so that you can read the names and read the things, but that's gonna be put on the back.
And
I
having
hope-
that there alone should convey that the sign should have more respect
Yes. I
than
hope-
climbing on it, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Pat's texting me about something there.
Maybe we gotta put a glass
Did
cover
he
on
say
it.
something about that?
Yeah.
Dennis, the galvanized pipe, he can have all the galvanized pipe he wants,
Okay.
so.
I'll tell him to work with Pat tomorrow.
Anything else, Pam?
That's all.
Dan?
Yeah, thanks to the, Michelle and Roland Recreation Committee that decorated the front of the building. Hope everybody took a nice look. They got nice pumpkins out there. Got all kinds of stuff out there now, so pretty nice.
Like the ghost.
One-way street,
Yeah, the
sign is up. I think it's great. Nobody knows it.
Pat hasn't moved it up. He said that where they are is
No,
where.
the one-way street at the Pratt.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Pratt, okay,
Oh.
sorry.
Sorry, we were on something else, I apologize.
Pratt.
Okay.
Okay, you're on that other issue. I'm staying out of that. I'm not.
Well, what's your
welcome-
Pratt issue?
I'm not, nothing. I
Oh,
just
is
said
it
it's
working?
nice. I'm
Oh,
happy.
Good, okay,
Nobody's gonna abide by it, but yeah, I'm happy.
okay.
We had a situation with the dike, they were over there today. A neighbor who lives on Lincoln Street actually got underneath the bridges and dug some leaves out and got the water flowing again. The pond was actually almost at the top of the stone, and the part up to Spring Street was probably 4 feet deep, so. Thanks to a neighbor who lives over there that got under there and took care of that. And then, today, the DPW came over and did some work, got some trees out of there and things like that. I remember, when Bob Gravelding and Jim were there, and maybe even Pat, they used to do this regularly, and I think it was, the fall, because of the leaf buildup under those bridges. Lincoln and Spring, Chapel and Lincoln, and Orchard and Chapel, so, I don't know. It's flowing good now today, so.
Good.
Hopefully. There is an issue with the screens. What are we gonna do with the screens?
What's the issue?
Well, it's where the leaves are backing up.
And the screens are there to keep the fish in,
Yeah, I know, that's
so
the
that they eat
problem.
the seaweed,
Yeah,
so.
okay.
So they
But-
just gotta be cleaned out
Well,
periodically,
If they
of
could
course,
just,
in the.
maybe, if there's a way they could just rake it a little bit. Get some, but, I don't know. It's,
What does
that's,
that mean? We
that's.
clean
We
the
have to think
screens, we
about
don't
it,
have to
yeah.
take them out, we
Is
probably
that
just clean
usual
them.
for a citizen to?
Takes a
No.
village.
No.
Yeah, but it's
So-
a liability is all
Right.
I'm asking about.
Well, I could have told them to stop.
We've had Boy Scouts in there
I'm
doing
just
stuff though
asking.
over time or whatever,
'Cause
so I mean, I'm assuming.
I don't
it's
know the
okay.
area.
It's probably illegal. You don't know the area?
Okay, thanks, Dan. Mike?
Okay,
No, I
wait.
don't know
Oh,
the
we done?
spot.
Oh, I guess so.
Okay, Mike?
Is he done?
Yes.
So I got an
Should get to
email
know
from
your
Leslie
whole
and she's
village.
ordered 14 trees. She's got the dig safely in place for the planting. She's put stakes where she wants them, and so she's gonna coordinate that with the DPW for our fall tree planting.
We still are looking for people that are interested in serving on our tree commission, so if anybody is interested and wants to volunteer, please call the Village Hall at 315-637-9864. So,
And that's all I got.
good. Lori?
Well, the guy that lives, you know where you had the sign on Shady, and I had it one day?
Yeah.
That guy was interested, but I don't know whether he's interested in trees, but he's interested in being on the board.
So, all of you, we talked about it this last meeting. This is a draft policy, okay? It doesn't say draft on it. I apologize, I didn't know how to do the watermarks. But this is just a draft policy for our box cast. I think it's important that the village has a set guideline for the purpose and use of this box cast system. As you can see, this is just something that I put together with the help of Lori and Karen in the office today. The purpose of the policy is to make it clear when and how the live stream box cast system is used. The system is for the benefit of the village residents who are unable to attend public meetings. 1, all official meetings of the Village Board of Trustees, Planning Board, and Zoning Board of Appeals will be live streamed. The reason is these are all official meetings, and I thought that this was why we bought this system, that any board meeting should be live streamed. The Tree Commission, Historic Preservation Commission, Parks Commission will have the option of live streaming their meetings if they choose, unless they are reviewing an application. I think if there's an application in front of them, that the village residents have a right to see that. Because there is some meetings where there's no application and they're just going through and reviewing things. So But I also want to leave it up to the commissioner of that board. If they feel like they want it live streamed, then it can be live streamed. The chairman of each board will designate a person to start the meeting and turn it off when it is over. Number 4, each meeting will be posted on the village website by the clerk's office. Number 5, executive sessions will not be live streamed. And number 6, this policy is subject to change upon review of the Board of Trustees. So this is just a draft. If you guys could make any notes or changes on this and bring this back to the next meeting. Ted, if you could look at this and make sure that we wordsmith that appropriately, I appreciate that. So the village tree lighting ceremony, so what I'd like to do is our meeting on, our virtual tree lighting ceremony on October 23rd, we have a meeting at 6 o'clock. After that meeting, I'll keep the agenda light, okay? I'd like to then do our ceremony.
November.
I'm sorry, November 23rd, thank you.
Can't be
I'll
scared.
keep that agenda light.
Thought I missed
After
it.
that meeting, I'd like to go next door. I have it all set up with a person to do sound and videotape it, sound. So Dennis, we talked about a choir or getting people to sing. We need the senior center there to help light the memory tree. And we'll have a quick ceremony that we will videotape, and then we will post on our website on that Friday of the event. So it's all set up to be done that night. So I said 7 o'clock because I figured we need an hour for our meeting. Anybody have any issue with that?
Are you asking me to get a choir?
No, I just know that we talked about Pam and you had talked about maybe some choir, some people singing or chorale
I had
group or
some
something.
All right,
ideas.
I'll talk to
So-
Tony
Do you
about
have
it.
a feel of how long you want that to go?
That ceremony is no longer than,
10.
yeah,
Just
no
one
longer
or
than
2
Yeah,
things
I
they
mean,
can
literally
say.
somebody from the seniors, we'll welcome, you'll welcome everybody. They'll sing a song. We'll have the senior center come up. They can maybe sing another song, and then
The tree
I'll
and
come up,
that's it.
light the tree. We'll sing another song, and we'll be done.
This
could
is
be
all
that simple.
holiday
Yeah,
related.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that 23rd of November will be when we'll do that. I met with the DEC, Signal Hill. We've heard that complaints of the gunshots, even though it's in the town, and the town is reviewing it, and they have a committee discussing it. But I did reach out to the DEC for some help. I did learn that the gun ranges are not regulated by any state agency. So they kind of fall into a little bit of a, there's no governing body that looks at those. The DEC has received complaints and they have investigated the complaints, but they are no longer, there's nothing that's being done illegally other than what they have already worked on with the landowner about the site distance and the benches that he was using. There is some remedies that I will give the committee that the town residents can do, but I wanted to let you know that they're really, from a DEC standpoint, they have done and are doing everything they can do. It's now up to the town board, and then we will have to act if the law is different than what the village has to deal with
Can I ask
noise
a
complaints.
question?
Yeah,
So from what you just said,
unless we want to.
he operates a gun range there, and there is no, there's no rules about operating a gun range?
There is no, when you say
No,
rules,
Well, so I could have a gun range in my backyard if I was far enough away from everybody's house?
Well,
I'm
you're
just
not- you're in
saying,
the
like,
village.
huh?
You're in the village.
Oh, so say I have the property and the ability to have a space that I could make a gun range. There is no, I'm just asking the question.
I understand what you're saying.
There is no law about, or rules about how,
There
what
might
you
be.
have to have for a gun range
The
then.
DEC
it depends on how it's zoned.
Okay.
And his class, because it's not in the village, it's in the town.
Right.
It's just affecting village residents. So the
Right,
reason I
no,
called was
so-
because I wanted to make sure, there may be something that we can enact, saying, like we have, within 500 feet of a church, you
Right.
can't have a strip, an adult entertainment facility.
Right.
So it could
No,
be
I'm just
something that we
wondering
could
if
do.
there is
We could do something like that.
Could happen. that
But I'm
way,
not
that's
sure
all.
if that's gonna get us, that could be called spot zoning and we could be challenged. But I said the same thing, the reason, there's one in Pompey, there's one in DeWitt, but they
Well,
have been there
have like
forever, and they're,
a rod and gun
Families.
club
Right.
that has them,
And they're
and
buffered.
I didn't know if they
Yeah.
had any
Right.
rules that you have to have
Oh, right,
to
there's
have
one in
or not,
Manlius, and they
that's all.
operate under strict, rules every gun club does that because they don't want to upset their neighbors, but that's not the point of it.
Don't they have rules of what types of guns that can be fired?
No,
No. No. He
So you
said
can
that
do a
there's-
machine gun?
yeah, absolutely, anything that,
I'll give you guys the information, but there was a couple little things that he said that we could do. But we have to wait and see what the town does, because we
Right.
may want to enact the town's noise ordinance and change ours,
That's what I wondered.
so that we're
Noise ordinance.
consistent with what's going on. So we'll review that.
Yeah, no, it was just a question I had on.
Nope, I apologize, Pat is chiming in here. Mike, he wants to have all the trees done before, so, okay. Pat will make sure he has the trees ready for us too, for the ceremonies too. We need the trees done. It's about a couple days earlier than normal, but we'll have those trees done. Anybody in the audience have any questions before we go into executive session? Yes, Mr. Hall.
So the status of the property on Route 5 in front of Brookside?
Have we gotten a closing date yet from the Bundy property?
No, I've been after her attorney, Greg Chickatano, telling him we're ready to roll, so I'll just continue to bug him.
Who's her attorney?
A gentleman named Greg Chickatano has been the guy I've been.
We have a signed contract,
Is it?
so we're under contract, so.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Finalizing.
What
Yes.
happened about
Yeah.
it?
And then, is there any update on the other two development projects?
Right now, both of them, we are waiting on a letter from 547. We haven't heard anything. And we are not, there. We have to, Ted and I have to sit and go through the next process, because we have to start that back up again. So, on the Hybrid Street. So, they did come back and said that they have taken a 5-story building down to 4 stories. But we haven't seen anything in documentation other than a phone call saying that's what they were gonna do. So, we're waiting to see what, they're doing. So, yes.
I would like to understand that a little more clearly. Okay, so High Bridge, status, you've had the public hearing about the environmental impacts, so forth. What was it that, I think you just said something
The
about-
developer called and said that they wanted to take it from a 5-story building down to a 4-story building. And what was the board's feeling? I said, I can't speak for the board, but I know that they have concerns on parking and the height of the building. And he said, okay, we will get you something back. We haven't seen anything back. There has been no correspondence since that phone call.
And
So,
when was that where,
2 weeks ago, maybe, 3 weeks ago. I'm not sure exactly the date of the phone call, but it was a phone conversation, so.
okay, with regarding, I'm satisfied with that, except that I wondered about the Loma.
So the Loma is, we did have a phone conference with Senator Schumer's office, Congressman Caco's office, and the representatives from the state and FEMA. And we are just waiting now for them to start the review process. They have the data. They said it would be a 6 to 8 month process for them to review the Loma data. That was done by Bergman and Associates. So we're just kind of in this limbo right now. So,
I understand, was the developer trying to wait for that to come in?
not that I know of. Not that I
So
know
it's
of.
not linked to
No,
the review of the
no,
development?
not that I know of, not that we've talked about. I know that he did apply for a brownfield grant, and that may be the delay that he's having.
So there's contamination on the site?
He applied, I haven't seen the application yet, so I can't say what and if there is contamination, so.
Well, you can't get a brownfield grant if there's no contamination.
But I don't want to say what the I don't know what it is, and I
I
don't know what the extent of it is, so.
I understand, I don't want to ask, you know, I'm not trying to get information that is not definite,
Mhm.
or that is just hearsay, or,
Yeah.
you know, just, I want to know things that you know.
Yeah.
Facts that should be publicly available,
Right.
but not things that are guessing.
Right.
Or,
We don't have any definitive application or revised drawings back from the developer on the project, so.
okay,
But that was
so-
just a phone call that he had made to me.
I understand, so it seems like they're considering revising their proposal.
Mhm.
Seems like that,
That's, all indications are that they were gonna revise it and send it back to us.
I understand, okay.
So that's why we haven't push this any farther because we're still not done with our review. We still have steps in our review to do, so.
Of course, but if the proposals changes significantly, then the environmental review will change, and the other aspects of reviewing for approval will change.
Mhm.
So, in my standpoint, the little bit that I know about the seeker law is that there is an urgency to proceed through steps if the applicant is pushing. If the applicant is okay with the delay and the village is okay, then I don't think there's any time pressure.
Okay. I did just get a text, somebody must be watching this, and it said they were preparing a demolition for 117 High Bridge. I don't know who this is, but they're texting me, so.
Okay.
So that's an update.
But they have to get a
That's
permit
a
for
nice
that.
building.
Never mind.
But anyway, so with regard to 547 East Genesee, I believe that you said something about a letter.
No, we had a phone conversation, and we're waiting for a letter from the developer. So,
Can you say anything about what the developer's intentions or what's going on?
the last conversation we had on the phone was that there's a change in the memory care status of the project versus just a standard senior housing now. Same footprint, same size, just going from memory care versus senior housing. So something like the cruise ship. Oh, Sarah Bollinger, sorry. So.
Okay.
Okay.
that's- It's too bad that we can't. So it's not great, in my opinion, that people are communicating or participating in the meeting and nobody who's here can hear anything about what they're saying. Or what is the,
Mark,
you know,
you just told
why
her what
don't
she
we,
said.
why don't we have Zoom would be better than this?
Well, you didn't come to the beginning of the meeting, but this is being live streamed, and actually we're on microphones and it's online right now. And we've already had a phone call from a village resident who heard it, and we asked them to call in, and they called in to verify that they can hear us. There's a little bit of garbling in the corner, but they can see the screen is good and they can hear. The camera is right above you, and our microphones are right in front of you.
But
So
I can't hear them. I couldn't hear
Well,
Sarah, she's not.
I apologize.
Mark just told you exactly what Sarah said, and he told you exactly what Pat
Marguerite,
said.
we cannot be any more transparent than we're being, and I know you understand that you think there's things going on, but there's not things going on. And I wish you would understand that we are, Marguerite, I'm speaking, I wish you would understand that this village is being as transparent as possible, and we're giving all the information we can. At the last meeting, you asked for something, I gave you my copy. We are not trying to hide anything from you. There is just not a lot of information going on right now. Don't forget, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so everything is kind of just gone. And I can't imagine being a developer.
That I'd like to hear the participants in the
Right.
meeting.
Well,
at
that
the
isn't
time.
possible to do, the way we do it.
So we need Zoom instead then, I think.
Well,
But in
that's-
any event,
Mark.
We are allowed to do this the way we're doing it, so.
with regard to 547, and please don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say you're doing stuff in secret. I did not say that. So please do not.
Your lawsuit is a little different than that, so, please, okay? So we need a motion to go in executive
So
session to
moved.
discuss personnel, or executive session for advice of counsel.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There'll be no, nothing taken after the meeting.
Are you gonna hang or are you leaving?
I have to get going.
Okay, so, can I walk with you for a second? Sure.
Mhm.